And hello, everyone, and welcome to this live stream. Thank you so much for joining me today. Whether you're here live with me right now or watching the replay later, I truly appreciate you all being here. If you could, please, anyone who's on, let me know how the sound is going through. And if you feel at any point that the stream brings you value, please take a moment to like the stream, share it with somebody who may enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps support the space and allows more people to find it. If you could bear with me while I just set everything up as I prepare my recording as well. I will be bringing you more videos, more little snippets of everything that I go through as time goes by. So I do have a secondary camera over here that films everything that I do. So please bear with me. Everything's a learning experience as we go along. But I hope you enjoy it. Right, that's all set up. That's all good to go. I'll just move some things out of the way. Right. This is a live and interactive stream, so feel free to join in the conversation. You can share your thoughts, your reflections, or ask any questions in the chat panel, and also you're also welcome to leave comments. I'll be reading along with you in the comment section as we go. So yeah, just shout to me if you don't understand something or if you need extra clarity. Today we'll be continuing with our journey of Sun Tzu's Art of War, and specifically we'll be looking and exploring chapter 11. Now, before we do that, I'd like to revisit chapter 10, which was terrain. It was the live stream that I did a couple of days ago. I really don't feel like I did that live stream any justice. It was so good. It was brilliant. But I don't feel like I got the most out of the chapter. So I might be doing it again, but going a bit more in depth and giving more in-depth wisdom, because terrain is one of the most important things. You know, because it sets a foundation for everything that follows. In that chapter 10, Sun Tzu teaches us about understanding the ground that we stand on a deeper level. The chapter isn't just about physical terrain, it's about awareness. In our personal lives, this means recognizing our current emotional and mental state before making decisions. If you're looking at it in a business context, it's about understanding the environment that you're operating in and timing. There's risks and the conditions before taking actions. In relationships, it's about the emotional landscape, um, about what's unspoken or what's changing and what needs care or patience. I feel chapter 10 reminds us that many struggles come not from lack of effort, but from moving forward without truly understanding where we are. When we gain clarity on our terrain, our choices become calmer, wiser, and more effective. So I feel I still need to go through that chapter again. Um, I will put in my communities page some questions where you can uh, answer them and give me your reflections on what you took away from the chapter. And I always would encourage people, as Michael reads, to just get yourself a copy of the book and any of the future books that I will go through. It makes it a lot easier. I'm still getting to grips with the whole narration of things, and sometimes I don't even play these live streams back because uh, I always feel I don't sound great. But yeah, get yourself a copy of the book so that we can just you can follow as we go or download the PDF, whichever is easier for you. But I really am trying to encourage people to do things the old school way and get yourself a book. Um, uh, Today, it brings us to chapter 11, the nine situations. In this chapter, Sun Tzu explores how different circumstances require different responses. There's no single strategy for every moment in life. Growth, as well, comes from adaptability, awareness, and knowing when to act and when to remain still. As we go through this chapter, uh, I invite you to reflect on the different situations you face in your own lives, personally, professionally, spiritually, in business. Um, yeah, and how your awareness shapes any outcome. So take a breath, get yourself comfortable. It's very cold and rainy here where I am, so uh, really make yourself comfortable. Make yourself a hot drink, and let's begin exploring chapter 11 together. The nine situations. Sun Tzu said, "The art of war recognizes nine varieties of ground: dispersive ground, facile ground, contentious ground, open ground, ground of intersecting highways, serious ground, difficult ground, hemmed in ground, desperate ground." When a chieftain is fighting in his own territory, it is dispersive ground. When he has penetrated into hostile territory, but to no great distance, it is facile ground. Ground the possession of which imports great advantage to either side is contentious ground. Ground on which each side has liberty of movement is open ground. Ground which forms the key to three contiguous states, so that he who occupies it first has most of the empire at his command, is a ground of intersecting highways. When an army has penetrated into the heart of a hostile country, leaving a number of fortified cities in its rear, it is serious ground. Mountain forests, rugged steeps, marshes and fens, all country that is hard to traverse, this is difficult ground. Ground which is reached through narrow gorges and from which we can only retire by tortuous paths, so that a smaller number of the enemy would suffice to crush a large body of our men. This is hemmed ground. Ground on which we can only be saved from destruction by fighting without delay is desperate ground. On dispersive ground, therefore, fight not. On facile ground, halt not. On contentious ground, attack not. On open ground, do not try to block the enemy's way. On the ground of intersecting highways, join hands with your allies. On serious ground, gather in plunder. In difficult ground, keep steady on the march. On hemmed in ground, resort to stratagem. On desperate ground, fight. Those who are called skillful leaders of old knew how to drive a wedge between the enemy's front and rear, to prevent cooperation between his large and small divisions, to hinder the good troops from rescuing the bad, the officers from rallying with their men. When the enemy's men were scattered, they prevented them from concentrating. Even when their forces were united, they managed to keep them in disorder. When it was to their advantage, they made a forward move. When otherwise, they stopped still. If asked how to cope with a great host of the enemy in orderly array and on the point of marching to the attack, I should say, begin by seizing something which your opponent holds dear. Then we will amen, amen, amenable to your will. I do apologize for that. Rapidity is the essence of war. Take advantage of the enemy's unreadiness. Make your way by unexpected routes and attack unguarded spots. The following are the principles to be observed by an invading force. The further you penetrate into a country, the greater will be the solidarity of your troops, and thus the defenders will not prevail against you. Make forays in fertile country in order to supply your army with food. Carefully study the well-being of your men and do not overtax them. Concentrate your enemy and hoard your strength. Keep your army continually on the move and devise unfathomable plans. Throw your soldiers into positions whence there is no escape, and they will prefer death to flight. If they will face death, there is nothing they may not achieve. Officers and men alike will put forth their uttermost strength. Soldiers, when in desperate straits, lose the sense of fear. If there is no place of refuge, they will stand firm. If they are in hostile country, they will show a stubborn front. If there is no help for it, they will fight hard. Thus, without waiting to be marshaled, the soldiers will be constantly on the qui vive, without waiting to be asked. They will do your will without restrictions. They will be faithful without giving orders. They can be trusted. Prohibit the taking of omens, and do away with superstitious doubts. Then, until itself comes, no calamity need be feared. If our soldiers are not overburdened with money, it is not because they have a distaste for riches. If their lives are not unduly long, it is not because they are disinclined to longevity. On the day they are ordered out to battle, your soldiers may weep, those sitting up be- uh, bedewing their garments, and those lying down letting their tears run down their cheeks. But let them once be brought to bay, and they will display the courage of a Chu or a Q. I don't know how to pronounce that one. The skillful tactician may be likened to the Shuaijan. Now, the Shuaijan is a snake that is found in the Chang Mountains. Strike at its head, and you will be attacked by its tail. Strike at its tail, and you will be attacked by its head. Strike at its middle, and you will be attacked by head and tail both. Asked if an army can be made to imitate a Shuaijan, I should answer yes. For the men of Wu and the men of Yue are enemies, yet if they are crossing a river in the same boat and are caught by a storm, they will come to each other's assistance, just as the left hand helps the right. Hence, it is not enough to put one's trust in the tethering of horses and the burying of chariot wheels in the ground. The principle on which to manage an army is to set up one standard of courage which all must reach. How to make the best of both strong and weak? That is a question involving the proper use of ground. Thus, the skillful general conducts his army just as though he were leading a single man, willy nilly by the hand. It is the business of a general to be quiet and thus ensure secrecy, upright and just, and thus maintain order. He must be able to mystify his officers and men by false reports and appearances, and thus keep them in total ignorance. By altering his arrangements and changing his plans, he keeps the enemy without definite knowledge. By shifting his camp and taking circuitous routes, he prevents the enemy from anticipating his purpose. At the critical moment, the leader of an army acts like one who has climbed up a height and then kicks away the ladder behind him. He carries his men deep into hostile territory before he shows his hand. He burns his boats and breaks his cooking pots like a shepherd driving a flock of sheep. He drives his men this way and that, and nothing knows whither he is going. To muster his host and to bring it into danger, this may be termed the business of the general. The different measures suited to the 9 varieties of ground, the expediency of aggressive or defensive tactics, and the fundamental laws of human nature, these are things that, that must most certainly be studied. When invading hostile territory, the general principle is that penetrating deeply brings cohesion. penetrating but a short way means dispersion. When you leave your own country behind and take your army across neighborhood territory, you find yourself on critical ground. When there are means of communication on all four sides, the ground is one of intersecting highways. When you penetrate deeply into a country, it is serious ground. When you penetrate but a little way, it is facile ground. When you have enemies' strongholds on your rear and narrow passes in front, it is hemmed in ground. When there is no place of refuge at all, it is desperate ground. Therefore, on dispersive ground, I would inspire my men with unity of purpose. On facile ground, I would see that there is close connection between all parts of my army. On contentious ground, I would hurry up my rear. On open ground, I would keep a vigilant eye on my defenses. On ground of intersecting highways, I would consolidate my alliances. On serious ground, I would try to ensure the continuous stream of supplies. On difficult ground, I would keep pushing on along the road. On hemmed in ground, I would block any way of retreat. On desperate ground, I would proclaim to my soldiers the hopelessness of saving their lives. For it is the soldier's disposition to offer an obstinate resistance when surrounded, to fight hard when he cannot help himself, and to obey promptly when he has fallen into danger. We cannot enter into alliance with neighboring princes until we are acquainted with their designs. We are not fit to lead an army on the march unless we are familiar with the face of the country, its mountains and forests, its pitfalls and precipices, its marshes and swamps. We shall be unable to turn natural advantages to account unless we make use of local guides. To be ignorant of any one of the following 4 or 5 principles does not befit a warlike prince. When a warlike prince attacks a powerful state, his generalship shows itself in preventing the concentration of the enemy's forces. He overawes his opponents, and their allies are prevented from joining against him. Hence, he does not strive to ally himself with all and sundry, nor does he foster the power of other states. He carries out his own secret designs, keeping his antagonists in awe. Thus, he is able to capture their cities and overthrow their kingdoms, bestow rewards without regard to rule, issue orders without regard to previous arrangements, and you will be able to handle a whole army as though you had to do with but a single man. Confront your soldiers with the deed itself. Never let them know your design. When the outlook is bright, bring it before their eyes, but tell them nothing when the situation is gloomy. This is brilliant. Place your army in deadly peril, and it will survive. Plunge it into desperate straits, and it will come off in safety. For it is precisely when a force has fallen into harm's way that is capable of striking a blow for victory. Success in warfare is gained by carefully accommodating ourselves to the enemy's purpose. By persistently hanging on the enemy's flank, we shall succeed in the long run in killing the commander in chief. This is called ability to accomplish a thing by sheer cunning. On the day that you take your command, block the frontier passes, destroy the official tallies, and stop the passage of all emissaries. Be stern in the council chamber so that you may control the situation. If the enemy leaves a door open, you must rush in. Forestall your opponent by seizing what he holds dear, and subtly contrive to time his arrival on the ground. Walk in the path defined by rule and accommodate yourself to the enemy until you can fight a decisive battle. At first, then, exhibit the coyness of a maiden until the enemy gives you an opening. Afterwards, emulate the rapidity of a running hare, and it will be too late for the enemy to oppose you. Sun Tzu's wisdom is beyond um, anyone I know, anyone currently present in my life at the moment. So this book really speaks to me. Um, the nine situations. The art of war recognizes nine varieties of ground: dispersive ground, facile ground, contentious ground, open ground, ground of intersecting highways, serious ground, difficult ground, hemmed in ground, desperate ground. I mean, guys, what ground are you on right now where life is getting more difficult? We're facing more challenges as other people's lives are becoming more difficult. So we have to deal with many different characters, many different attitude, many different mindsets, many different situations where we have to make sacrifices, we have to make changes to accommodate those around us. In chapter 10, terrain, I'll go back to chapter 10. Terrain leads into these nine situations. But this book is that manual that you'd need to uh, find your way through any type of ground that you're going through. It's giving you what you need to be able to judge any situation, to be able to uh, deal with any situation. And I feel these last two chapters, the moment chapter 11 is the most detailed, most lengthy chapter that Sun Tzu's put in his book. So it's worth listening to it again, and really taking time to sit back and try to think how this affects you. I mean, you might not have anything going on and you're living a brilliant life and everything else, but it's still there for you as a manual um to go through when any situation arises. So let me know, please, what you thought about this chapter, the nine situations. Uh, let me know if if it has brought you some sort of clarity to any situation that may be affecting you, let me know if it's allowed you to open your mind a bit more and plan ahead, or just uh, giving you some sort of reflection. And I sincerely hope that my live streams are here to help you um, in any situation, because that's the whole aim of starting this channel, um, Michael Reads, because I would like to uh, get myself and all of you into the habit of um, gaining wisdom from the places that uh, those who lived in the past before all the technology, where they gained their wisdom from. And I mean, we've been successful as a human race, so books are sound advice, and they help shape our mindset and help us grow uh, in wisdom. So I appreciate you. Please leave any comments. Thank you for joining me. If you gain value, please like and hit the thumbs up button that's down there on your screen somewhere, and share this stream with your loved ones, those who you care about most, who or anyone who you feel might be struggling at the moment and just needs that little bit of a push forward, so that they can win the battle that they're facing. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. We have not long to go before the end of this book, which is amazing. But the next chapter, chapter 12, is Attacked by Fire. Looking forward to that. I will schedule the next live stream, so please put your notification bells on, and I will see you on that live stream. But thank you so much for joining me today on Michael Reads. Ciao.